welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host here, YouTube, son of an imitated, never duplicated superstar, Tim Vicious. And we are talking about Raw, or not Raw, I'm sorry. Damn it, first botch and not even full 30 seconds in. Damn, that's a new record. Talking about Elimination Chamber was in Houston, Texas, home of one of the, well, not going to go and promote them. Not sure because of standards and practices. I'm not allowed to name names, but, well, you know, someone who does a very well-renowned podcast lives down there. Alright, so before we get into it, you know, before we get into the show itself, two things. One, the pay-per-view was fucking phenomenal. If you didn't like it, honest to God, see this axe right here? You can take the business end of it and go stick it up here. Go shove it up your ass sideways. Actually, not even sideways. Take the business end and shove it right up. Also, don't ask why I got an axe. There's a reason why my name's Vicious. Secondly, the Fallout Raw. Oh, one of the best Fallout Raws I have seen in a long time that was not tied to a Mania one. And honest to God, now I'm gonna try and segue from that into news that happened from the time of the last show into this. First things first, one of the Usos, the one that's married to Noami, wound up getting arrested, you know, drunk and disorderly, you know, attempt to put his arms up, looked like he wanted to go and throw down with a cop. You know, a lot of speculation going on saying that, you know, oh, they're probably trying to get themselves fired so they can go and work for the Bucks at AEW. Fuck that shit. Fuck them rumors, man. Shit happens, and honestly, it happens. Some people fuck up. Get over it. Stop with the fucking rumor mill. Stop spreading fake shit like that. You know? Also, big news that happened, and in a way I kind of hate reporting this, if I can even use that term, reporting properly, but do feel it needs to be addressed. News broke on Saturday. Corey Graves' wife wound up putting it out there online that she's accused him of cheating on her for multiple months with Carmella, and then other stories broke out later on following it saying that Graves and his wife have been separated for multiple months. They're in the beginning processes of filing for divorce. Graves has been staying with several different people, has been basically bouncing from, squatting, to put it one way. You know, he's been bouncing from different people's places from time to time in between, trying to find a place to live. Honestly, you know, you can look at it and say, oh, well, Graves cheated on his wife, he broke his wife's heart, he did that to his kids. And then you could also look at it and say, well, Carmella knew she was a married man and all this, that, and the other. And then you could look at it and say, it was two full-grown adults consenting to what they wanted to do. Let them be. If they want to go in the other room and fuck, let them go in the other room and fuck. Let it go. Ain't none of your concern. Because, honest to God, I would have loved to have seen Twitter and social media and all that shit. Social media the way it is now, when the whole Matt Hardy, Edge, Lita shit happened. Because, man, could you imagine? I would just love to hear all the people that are diehard Edge and Lita fans try and throw shade at that. Now, on to great news. It was announced earlier in the day, as of the day of this recording, D-Generation X is going into the WWE Hall of Fame, and That is the consistency of the, when I say that, damn it, get your shit right, man. When I said, it is Hunter, Sean, Pac, not Neville, or Pac, X-Pop, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, and of course, China. So, yes, China is being in the Hall of Fame, thank God, and, you know, somebody out there, I can't remember their name, put it best. You know, wrestling fans have been clamoring for years. China deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. China deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. China deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Now she's getting in it. Wait for it, wait for it. 3, 2, 1. Oh, China deserves to be in there on her own. Fuck you! This is why Daniel Bryan has so much fucking ammo saying fans are fickle. Because you beg and plead that you get something like that to happen, and then when it does, you shit all over it. Just stop for a fucking minute and enjoy what the fuck you got right there. Anyways, I'm glad that China's in. You know, hopefully that'll shut some of the bitter, smarky McSmarkertons up. You know. So, now, on to the pay-per-view itself. Pre-show, Akira, Tozawa, Buddy Murphy. A lot of people were shitting on the fact that cruiserweights get nothing but pre-show matches. But if you think about it, let's just take a trip in the Wayback Machine. You look back on old WCW pay-per-views, 99.9% of the time, their matches started out with cruiserweights. Now I know obviously their generation of cruiserweights is completely different than the current gen. But point being, no one had any... You go and you listen to someone else's show that does like a retro show or breaks down WCW stuff and this, that, and the other. You know, 99.9% of the time you'll hear them say, oh, the cruiserweight matches were so great. It was a great way to start the show. You guarantee you have those same people watch this, they're going to go and fucking say, oh, well, they're just wasting the cruiserweight talent because they're having them do that. It's the same fucking concept, dipshit. They're setting a bar to build excitement for the rest of the show. Get the fuck over it. Now, this, man, I really dug the shit out of this match. Had a really nice striking style to go out and start with. I absolutely love that. Buddy Murphy, he was leading. He was leading, and I dug the hell out of the way Tozawa started to build his comeback up. It was Tozawa's comeback, honest to God, really felt believable. Like, you know, he really wanted to go and dig deep and get this belt again. Match came to an end though with Buddy Murphy. He countered the octopus lock Tozawa had and hit Murphy's Law. 1, 2, 3. That was it. And I'm not saying I want this to happen. I'm not saying I do or don't want this to happen. But man, just imagine if Buddy Murphy, the way he is now, gets a chance and gets moved to the main roster and gets put on Raw or SmackDown. Some of the people he could fucking go with on there would be great. Now, let's start with the main show. Women's Elimination Chamber match. Whew. WWE finally smartened up and started and threw out the women's stuff early so that way I could get my heart pills in. I had to go over to my buddy who was like, Zeke! Zeke! The women's match is starting now! There's all these smoking hot women fighting each other in a cage. Where's my damn heart pills? Whew. Man. Needed my heart pills for this one. Carmella and Noami, and a lot of people were breaking down and like splitting hairs and breaking down syllable by syllable everything Corey Graves was saying anytime, you know, Carmella was being talked about. It was to the point to where it was just, dude, shut up. Let the commentators tell the story. So So it was Carmella, Naomi, then Liv and Sarah going. It was Carmella, Naomi, Liv and Sarah, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan. I'm sorry, the IIconics, Naomi, or Nia and Tamina, Sonya and Mandy, and then Sasha and Bayley. Now, match started with Sonya, Mandy, Sasha, Bayley, and I'm not going to tell the ending right away, but I'm going to fast forward to the ending and say it came down to those two teams at the very end. But before that, we're going to focus on the middle, which is the important part in storytelling. Nice back and forth at the start. Once Liv and Sarah got in there, oh my God, it was great. It was just straight up. Not even, it just looked like, honest to God, like if I was a kid back in Philly seeing a fucking street fight, man. Just seeing a whole bunch of girls just fucking throwing down back on 4th Street again. Like, damn! You know? Now, when the IIconics came out, they wound up going in, like, rushing to go and throw out, not big or heavy set moves, just trying to rush in and hit a move to knock them down. That's the better way to put it, yeah. They were going in to go and hit them to get them down. That's what it was. And when Naomi and Carmella came in next, you know, then they started throwing their high flying. Then Naomi, she started throwing some flying moves in. Carmella, she was throwing out the super kicks. And, you know, really, you know, I was digging the hell out of this. They were flying everywhere. Now, Carmella and Naomi, they were the first to be eliminated, which honestly wasn't much of a shock because, you know, the very first, you know, they're an impromptu tag team, you know, zero build up for them. There was no way that was going to happen. No way they were going to win. You know, then when Nia and Tamina came out, they pretty much slaughtered everyone. The best part about when Nia and Tamina came out, though, was the IIconics, Billy Kay and Peyton. Man, they just hid behind everyone and then crawled into a pod and locked the doors behind them and was like, let's just wait for them to go. Let's just wait for them to kill everyone and then maybe we could pop out after. And then that did not work well because then they got boxed in and then boom, they got slaughtered. But it was just so great seeing because it just played so much to their character, and that's what I fucking loved. But after they got thrown out of the pods, they wound up getting the crap kicked out of them and then got eliminated. After that, everyone, whether they loved each other or not, started teaming up on Nia and Tamina, which was really cool to see. You know? But eventually, Nia and Tamina, they took out the Riott Squad. And then, as Nia went to go and do a spear to Bayley, Bayley moved out the way. And then Nia, boom, did the plexiglass spot for the chamber. And then, so yeah. Eventually, Tamina wound up taking... God almighty. Tamina took the pin and got eliminated. If I can fucking get my words right. God damn. And then after that, it was just a fight for Sonya, Mandy, Sasha, and Bayley. It was like a fight for their lives. It was just beautiful. Great match. Not even a great women's match. Just a great match in general. Cannot express that enough. It was just... Match came to an end when Sasha, who had her shoulder worked on for the entire match, wound up blocking in a modified version of the bank statement. Instead of using her bad shoulder, she wound up hooking her leg around to work as her arm, and then locked it in on Sonya, and then boom, Sonya tapped. And thing I did make a note on is, much like I said earlier about what Daniel Bryan said about the fans being fickle, they really were, because before, right at the start, when Sonya and Mandy, they were building up, they were getting the edge, they were starting to throw out their power moves, next thing you know, started to go They wound up getting a pin. It looked like they were about to get the win. 1, 2, you could hear the crowd cheering and yelling for it. And then the second they got 3, then the second Sasha and Bayley got 3, you could hear, ooh. It was like, the fuck? Seriously? You cheer at the fact that they almost get eliminated, and then you cheer and then you cheer once they get the 3 count, and then the second they get handed a microphone, that's when the boos start to pour. Really? Because I guarantee no one was out there booing at the fact that they got to stare at Charlie Caruso, because honestly, I could stare at I can't think of anyone that watches WWE that wouldn't mind looking at seeing Charlie Caruso read a fucking phone book. You know? But yeah, just fucking bullshit. Next up, we come to tag match. Miz and Shane going against the Usos. And before that happened, Miz came out with Maurice to announce once again that they are expecting another addition to the family. Maurice is pregnant again, and honestly, can you really? I can't really say I'm surprised. I mean, come on. Miz has a smoking hot French Canadian wife. What do you expect him to do on his days off? So yeah, then it was the Usos. Then the Usos came out. Now, the Usos, they were starting to lead fast. Really dug the feel for the match. It was like, okay, Miz and Shane, they were there to go and say, yeah, we're the champs. Usos came out with that feel of, we're here to prove we are that damn good, and, you know, by God, they're gonna. Miz, he was pretty much the team punching bag. When Shane got the hot tag, man, he cleaned up house, wound up doing a leap of faith, going from the corner to the announce table on the side. Took out an announce table, knocking out Uso 2, I think. The one that's not married to Naomi. But yeah, match wound up coming to an end. At one point when Miz was in, he was tagged in. Miz, he was working on the one Uso. Excuse me. Hit the Skull Crush finale. Wound up getting a kick out. Wound up, next thing you know, had a crucifix kick. The Uso wound up doing a crucifix roll-up when Miz went to counter a roll-up of his own. 1, 2, 3. So that's it. The Usos are now the new 6-time tag team champions. And man, does it feel good to prove everyone wrong, saying, oh, well, the Usos aren't going to win now because they got that arrest. As well as, you know, to all those rumors about them going to do that shit about leaving for AEW and whatever. Just fucking stop with that. Christ almighty, at the rate that's going, saying, oh, well, when this person's contract's up, they're going to go to AEW. When this person's contract's up, they're going to go to AEW. At the rate they're going, you know, the dirt sheets are going to fucking say Vince McMahon is going to sign with AEW. So yeah, next up, handicap match, Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush going against Finn Balor for Bobby Lashley's coveted Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. And Rush and Lashley, they started out doing the mind games, you know. Lio, he's going in, bouncing around like a ping pong ball, all the while Finn isn't able to even get his hands on him, and then just as it looks like Leo's about to tag, you're in, big man. And then Lashley, he starts playing that a power game. Dominates, just like he says he is. He's dominate. You know, he's a dominator. He destroys. Just boom. Clear path. Destroys. Playing that a power game. Finn, he builds a nice comeback, but what was nice about it is instead of it going on Lashley, he went on Lio, which makes sense. And that's what was great about it, because, you know, you look at the tail of the tape. Bobby Lashley's like, I don't know, I think he's like 6'3", 6'6". He's a solid 260. Finn, he's like 5'10", 190. Now, I've seen fights where guys like Finn took out guys like Lashley, but if you're doing wrestling, which is basically Shakespearean acting in a 360 degree stage, you know, you can't just go and say, well, this little guy is going to obviously dominate this big giant guy. Because it doesn't make sense in stories like that. Stories right away. Why do you think so many people have a hard time fucking dealing with the David and Goliath stories now? You know? They just look at it like, well, there's no way that little guy could have just, boom, take out that giant that quick. But yeah. Back to this match. Really, like I said, dug the hell out of on how Finn was targeting Leo for it. Wound up throwing Leo in after he wound up doing a over-the-top tope. And then match came to an end. Match came to an end when... Actually, no, I'm sorry. I skipped a part. After Finn did that, he started to work on Leo some. Leo eventually wound up getting Lashley, and Lashley started working Finn again. And just as Lashley was in the corner getting ready to go for a spear, Leo tags himself in. I got this, big man. I got this. I'll get this. You go ahead. You sit back, relax. I got this. Gets in there. Next thing you know, Finn, boom, goes to town on him. Knocks Lashley off the apron. Goes up. Boom. Coup de grace. 1, 2, 3. That is it. So Finn Balor is your new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And much to my surprise, you know, as a joke on what Corey Graves said, bet you he won't wear that title because it'll cover up his abs. Damn it, he wore that and it still doesn't cover them things up. So yeah. Now, sorry about that. Started to space out for a minute. Fuck, I'm botching all over tonight. Finn came out, was set to do a one-on-one match with Leo. After that, and then came Lashley out of nowhere, which is surprising considering after the match, Lashley beat the shit out of Leo Rush on Sunday. Monday, he came out Lashley came out and helped Leo beat the shit out of him. And then, to give Leo assistance, was the one and only Ricochet. Ricochet now has made his Monday Night Raw debut, and my God, it was so good to see that, because this kid, Ricochet, man, has wanted nothing else but this. And now it is so great to see that. You know, hopefully we'll get a match like they had in Revolution Pro like they had Fergal versus Ricochet. There, hopefully we'll get Finn versus Ricochet at some point down the road here. Now, next up, we got women's action. This Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey, and this was the piss break. This was the piss break. If I had to go and if I was going to complain about something, if I was going to be a bitter Smarky McSmarkerton and break it down and focus on the negatives instead of trying to think what I enjoyed, this would be what I would set my bitterness on, because this was a piss break. You know, biggest takeaways from this match was Charlotte was sitting ringside and cut a good promo before the match saying Becky is acting the way she is because she wants your approval, whereas for me, I just have to look in the mirror and see myself and I have my approval. Then she sat ringside. Ronda came out dressed up like Sonya Blade, which honestly I thought was a complete waste, because it would have made so much more sense for Ronda to come out doing that at WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is April 7th. Now, Ronda is doing the voice for Sonya in the new Mortal Kombat game, which comes out at the end of April. I think it's April 24th or 27th. One of them. I know it's in the April 20s. But, you know, it just, I don't know. To me, as a gamer and thinking promoting-wise, it would have made more sense to have her come out then Because you have her come out in February dressed as Sonya, saying, oh, she's dressed as Sonya Blade. She's doing the voice for the new Mortal Kombat game that's set to come out in April. You did it once. How does that help build and promote for that game for them? To help get a kickback from them. Whereas if you do it in April, just a few weeks before it's set to come out, oh, that could build up more hype. You know, you give her more of a Mortal Kombat-like entrance. You know, make her get, you know, like Sonya has a freaking drone as a fatality. Have a drone walk down with her. Have dummies come out dressed up like Kano and Shao Kahn and all. Have Ronda just throw wannabe fake punches at them. Give them the kiss of death, fatality, shit like that to knock them down on her way to the ring at WrestleMania. Just saying, things like that. So yeah. Biggest takeaways. Charlotte, Ronda dressed as Sonya. We want Becky chance. Match came to an end real fast. Ronda locked in the armbar. After that, Becky Lynch out of nowhere comes down hobbling on crutches. Not down the entryway though, through the fans, which I absolutely love, because while she is storyline suspended, it would have killed the concept of her being suspended if she came out of the entryway. She climbed in, stared down Charlotte and Ronda, tossed a crutch to Charlotte, and then wham! Went to town on her with another and just started beating the shit out of her. And then Ronda, she picks up a crutch, looks like she's about to go and take a swing at Charlotte, and just as she winds up, Becky, wham! Starts beating the shit out of her with it, and oh my god, it was beautiful. And yeah, you can make the comparison saying Becky is doing having a Steve Austin like style and run with it now. But you know what? Go right the fuck ahead, because she is fucking over like Rover. She's the hottest thing in the company right now. She's hotter than anyone else in there. You know? So yeah. Next up, we got Baron Corbin versus Braun Strowman in a no DQ match, which, honestly, this was a bullshit match. Corbin led the match at first by using a Singapore cane on Strowman until he was like, you know what, I had enough of this shit, boy. Took it off him, started going around him. At one point, Corbin threw an announcer's chair, like those executive leather chairs with the wheels, went and threw it, and Braun was like, whoop! Literally caught it in the air, moved his arm around like that, and then sat it down and just looked at him like, did you just try and throw a chair at me? Seriously? And then proceeded to go and beat the shit out of him. Just as it looked like Braun was about to go and finish it up, out comes McIntyre to distract him. And then Lashley comes out of nowhere. And then all three beat the shit out of Braun Strowman. And then they wind up doing a triple powerbomb onto Strowman through 2 tables. And then, yeah. And then Corbin gets the win. There was a rematch on Raw, though, which was a tables match. Strowman got the win off of that, clean. No outside interference from McIntyre or Lashley. And honestly, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, remember this time last year when Strowman was set to go and built up to look like he was going to be the next Universal Champ. Dude, he's gonna. It's just a matter of when. Think about it like this. You can't... If he's not going to be the guy to take down Brock, he's going to be the guy that takes down the guy who took down Brock. You know, that's looks like what they're more than likely going with. So, after that, now we move on to the main event of the night, and this, oh my god, this was beautiful. the Elimination Chamber match. Kofi Kingston, who took the place of Mustafa Ali, who got injured earlier in the week, so was unable to compete. And Kofi put on a hell of a show on SmackDown the week prior, lasting just as long as Seth Rollins did in the Gauntlet match last year. And, you know, it was Kofi, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Daniel Bryan. And started out with Joe and Bryan, and oh my God. Now, it was just like, the way it went, it was just amazing, because it was Bryan, he was fighting back, but every time Joe was just like, seriously? Did you just hit me with that? And then Joe, wham! Chopped the hell out of him. And what I loved about with this was when each new entry, it was like a reset button for the match, and the match restarted in a different way, because Bryan and Joe, they were not so much strike, but chopping, and like, you know, it felt like an indie match. Then came Kofi, came in, flying in on everyone, doing the high flying, doing his Daredevil-like style. Or not Daredevil, high risk, high gain style, I should say. Then AJ Styles came with the striking game. And then Jeff came in with his Daredevil-like style. And then Randy Orton came in with his methodical-like style. Because when Randy came in, everyone else was down and gassed, and he was just walking nice and slow, like, very methodical, like, who do I want to hurt first? I'm going to get this one. Alright, now, we'll say this. Before, you know, now, Joe, he did wind up being eliminated after Styles came in. And then, but really dug the hell out of Joe, the way Joe worked in there, though. Honestly, Joe was definitely built for an Elimination Chamber-like match. You know, Styles wound up getting eliminated from an RKO. How that happened, he wound up hopping up to go do a phenomenal forum, as he did. Randy just popped up, grabbed him, and then not even like a running, sliding RKO, just stood up, grabbed him, and then dropped down to do one. It was just like, whoa, that's a good RKO. Got the 1, 2, 3, so Styles is out, and then it left, and then Kofi wound up taking out Randy, doing a Trouble in Paradise, I believe it was, 1, 2, 3, so Randy was out, and then it left Kofi and Bryan, and oh my God, the emotion, the tension. Kofi and Bryan was to take a fuck knuckle Meltzer narrative. It was a 12 3/4 star match that could have main evented the Tokyo Dome. And I'm not saying that in a fucking sarcastic way, but honest to God, that would have fucking main evented anywhere, man. It was just beautiful, and you could feel everyone behind Kofi wanting him, begging for him to win. You know, you could feel it. Like, you know, the best comparison I can honestly say, seeing the way Kofi is moving right now, it feels like seeing it's like seeing Eddie Guerrero being moved up into the main event spot. That's honestly the best way to do it. To compare it. There's no other way. Because when you saw Eddie Guerrero, you knew that man could be a big guy. He could be a top guy. There's no way around it. He could be a top guy. You see the way Kofi works, you know, for 11-something years. 11-something years. He's been busting his ass in the company. Multi-time Intercontinental Champion. Multi-time U.S. Champion. Multi-time Tag Champion. Worked doing that work doing that. I'm from Jamaica, man. Gimmick. Even though it was bullshit, he made it work. Made that air boom shit with Evan Bourne work. Fucking New Day work. You know? I am praying. I'm praying. Jesus, Allah, Buddha, the dude, anyone, one of you guys up there, please, please give us Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania and let Kofi win, because my God, that would just be so fucking beautiful. And with that, yeah, I gave away the finish. Daniel Bryan wound up getting the win on how it came to be. They were up on top of a pod fighting, and then Bryan, he wound up getting thrown down. Kofi, he jumped off the pod to go do a splash. Bryan, boom, moved out the way, hit him with the running knee, got the 1, 2, 3. That was it. So Bryan is still your reigning, defending WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And like I said, hopefully Kofi gets this shot at Mania. So folks, like I always said, that is it for this week's show. So do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Make sure y'all look for me on my Twitter at TimVicious. Also do have another account if I get ghosted or put in Twitter jail, Tim_Vicious. I'm also on that Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you're going to look for me on my Facebook gimmick, let me know you found me on there from here. Or my Twitter at TimVicious. I don't think you got your creep John going. Leave any interesting complaints, thoughts, concerns, grunts, and groans down below. I'm open to all sorts of criticism, good, bad, everything in between. I got no problems hearing this shit sucks or this shit's great. Also, folks, do not forget to follow these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter at some Mulligan Kitty Killer. I'm my good brother, I'm Danny Sunday, DSB_IV, Cranky Grandpa, Dazzy MWP, and Sergeant Curry Pants. Big ups to my executive producer, Oliver Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check it out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, and such. Details are down below. And if you want one of these sweet Ollie Rewind shirts, hit me up and I'll talk to the man for you. Show that man some love and support. And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck yous.